So one of my newest team leaders, Omar, asked me a question the other day. He said, Al, how do I turn the underperforming agent fastest way possible? And I want to make sure that it's very clear for everyone that's listening to this. An underperforming rep is an anchor on the ship. If you don't deal with it quickly, they will drag the entire team down too. See, nowadays, too many leaders wait, hoping the time will fix it. But the time never fixes weakness. Truth, focus, and accountability does. I told Omar the first thing they need to do is they need to be brutally honest and confront the reality. You have to sit down with your agent and make the gap between what they think and what they know, where they are and where they want to go. Crystal clear. Here's where you are. Here's where the standard is. Here's what happens if it doesn't change. You have to be crystal clear with your agents. Most leaders delay this out of comfort, but that only grows the weakness. You cannot wait until the cancer spreads. By then, it's just too late to fix anything. Number two, I told him to diagnose the root, not the symptom. See, underperformance usually comes from one of the three roots. Skill issue, which means they don't know what to say or do. Will issue, which means they lack hunger, drive, or belief. Or number three, discipline issue, which means they know what to do, they know what to say, but they're just not willing to do it consistently. You see, you must track daily and weekly to see if the agent is on the uptrend or the downtrend. The moment their leads per sale hits an alarming threshold, that is your signal. That is your alarm. See, there's other warning signs, and those warning signs that they repeat the same mistake after being correct. Their energy drains the entire room. They have excuses, they bring in negativity, and they come in with absolutely no urgency. They hit the activity minimums, but they do not produce the result. Other agents begin to copy their bad habits because they see that you're letting it slide. The moment you see these signs, you have to act. Every day you tolerate it, you're teaching the team that weak standards are acceptable. Number three, weak attack with focus coaching. Once you know the root, prescribe a short targeted plan. Here's what I'm going to tell you. A couple weeks ago, I had this crazy cough and I thought, okay, it's just a cold. It's going to go away. And the cold started to become worse and worse and worse. And I started to feel horrible. And I was trying to be this, tough guy, say, you know what, this is just going to go on its own. I thought maybe it was a cold. I thought maybe it was something else. And I waited, and as I waited, things only got worse until I went to see a doctor, and the doctor had to do an x-ray, blood work, all these different diagnoses to be able to determine the root cause of my cough, root cause of my problem. Happens to be that I had a walking bronchitis, and I had to immediately jump on antibiotics. I had to take cough medicine. I had to take, steroids, all these different medicines. The reason why this happened is because I waited too long. But let's flip the script, right? The only way the doctor knew which antibiotic to give me, what to prescribe me, was because they understood the root cause of the problem. And once they understood that, they gave me a short targeted plan that allowed me to recover, allowed me to be better. Same applies here. So if they have a skill issue, you have to make sure they shadow top agents. You want to make sure they role play consistently. You want to make sure that you review their calls and listen to recordings with them consistently. Okay? If it's a will issue, then you have to re-anchor their why. Confront entitlement. Set a short-term wins. What are the small wins that they're going after every single day? What are their goals? What drives them? People are motivated by different things, and your job is to identify what is exactly going to get them off their ass to do the necessary work to be able to become better. If it's a discipline issue, you have to enforce daily check-ins. It could be a daily phone call at the end of the day where you recap, you ask them, what did you learn? What could you have improved upon? What could you have done better? What does your game plan look like for tomorrow? What are the things that you said you were going to do that you didn't do? And you set this, non-negotiable routines for them. You put together a strict accountability for them to make sure that they actually stick to it. You do not want to overwhelm them with 10 different fixes. You have to give them one weapon to master and improve. And if they can work on one of those things, then it's important that they start with one and progress to the other. You got to also lock them into immediate accountability. The turnaround must be fast, visible, and tracked daily. Accountability creates pressure, and pressure creates growth. Without having accountability, they will drift back to the old path patterns. Number 5, you're gonna have to decide. Decide either give them a breakthrough or give them an exit. Here's the truth. Not every agent will turn around. Your job is to create an environment where change is possible, but they must choose to respond. I'll run this process maybe twice, but never more than 60 days. Why? Because focused activity, focused accountability should be enough within 60 days to see improvement and progress, to be able to turn around where they are. If you're still dragging them after 60 days of working with them, they have shown you their ceiling. Remember, you're not just managing one rep, you're protecting the entire culture. The longer you carry someone who refuses to grow, the more your top performers start to question your leadership, and you definitely do not want that. Here's the lesson for all the leaders. The fastest to turn around isn't about tricks, it's about confronting the truth, diagnosing the root, focus on coaching, daily accountability, making the call. A weak leader babysits underperformance. An elite leader confronts, coaches, and clears the path for the team. Now, if you see a mix of skill, will, and discipline issue all at once, which one do you tackle first to be able to create momentum? See, most leaders will rush to the skill first, but that's the mistake. You can hand somebody the sharpest sword in the world, but if their mindset is broken, if their willingness is weak, and if their discipline is absent, they'll never swing it. The fastest turnaround starts with transforming the person, not adding more technique. The order is very simple. It's mindset, willingness, discipline, and then skill. So why mindset? Mindset is a belief reset. If they see themselves as broken or unfit for sales, nothing else matters. You must reset their perspective. Expose the lie they've been carrying. Remind them of their capability. Get them to see the possibility again. Without mindset, they won't even hear you. So all the work that you're putting into trying to fix their skill is going to be irrelevant. So start with the mindset. Number 2, willingness. What does willingness mean? It means they're open enough to be led by you. See, mindset gives hope, but willingness is surrender. It's when they say, I'm ready to be coached, I'll do whatever it takes. And if you want to test their willingness, test it with a simple but uncomfortable assignment. Do they do it right away, or do they make excuses? See, without willingness, you're dragging dead weight around, and you don't have time to do that. Then it goes discipline. And discipline is the structure and consistency that they require to succeed. Once their mind is open and they're willing, now you enforce the proper habits. For example, it could be strict check-ins, non-negotiable routines, clear scoreboards. Discipline proves whether willingness was real or just talk. You can easily find that out if you're willing to be able to put them in the pressure moment of accountability. Last is skill, the weapon of competence. Okay? Finally, once they're consistent, you pour in skill. For example, scripts, objections, tonality, closes, advanced tactics that matter once they build in discipline to use them. Skill without discipline is wasted. A rep, an agent can know the whole playbook, but if they're inconsistent, it just sits in their head and it's useless. We all heard the quote, knowledge is power, but that's not true. Applied knowledge is power. Now, let's just say you did all of that. You start to work with these agents that are underperforming. You understood that, okay, maybe they don't have one problem, but they have all the problems. So where should you start? And you start with the mindset and you start to fix all that. But how about the long-term agents? Agents who had the success but just got comfortable. What if someone has been here for years working with you and just plateaued? This is where leadership shifts from management to transformation. See, you have to publicly reinforce standards in the meetings. You have to recognize effort and growth, not just production. You have to put everybody's scoreboards up so no one can hide. Privately, you got to sit down with them and say, hey, you've been here for a while, but I refuse to let you plateau. You're either going to evolve with us or the environment will evolve without you. The environment must always reward growth and reject stagnation. No matter how long someone's been around, the tone has to be clear. You don't get to camp here. You either climb or you move out. So the real turnaround looks like this. Act fast, diagnose honestly, coach with focus, enforce accountability, and make the call. The sequence is clear. Mindset first, then willingness, then discipline, then skill. Weak leaders drag dead weight. Elite leaders protect the culture, raise the standard, and clear the path for growth.